Aloha! Yeah, so good to be here. This morning I'm finishing up our month on accountability. And our spiritual principle for this month is one that has evoked, a lot of discussion in our circles, in our Aloha circles. And a lot of us don't really like it. Accountability. I mean, it's often a weapon that we've had wielded against us somewhere in our lives, or we've used it to beat ourselves up at some point. So what I'd like to do today is really move into breaking down what is accountability and what is the most powerful way we can practice this spiritual principle in our lives to get the best result and benefit. So let's look at the word accountability, right? So you guys may have a much more clever and interesting way to describe this, but for me what happened is I looked at count. So it says to me, look at things, kind of take them apart and see what they are, and really open it up and expand it. And then there's that sense of, as you're counting it, looking at the elements that make up something, there is the ability to respond to it. That's where the responsibility part comes into the accountability. So just looking at that, what I'd like us to focus on today is community. This, I believe, is the wind we can have beneath our wings. This is the power of our times that we're living in. We're seeing nationally, globally, some of the negative sides of the times we're living in, which are really, in my opinion, about community and coming together. And that's why I entitled this talk after that wonderful thing that Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home. Awesome.
Yeah. Amen.
So really, honestly, that's what this time is about on the planet, and every single one of us signed up to be part of it because your butt's in the seat. How do you know? Oh, look where I am. I'm sitting in community. How about that? So I don't know about you, but community has not been something I consciously sought out. In fact, I've got a whole history, as does probably 99.999% of you, that's kind of negative around community, starting from the time we're little kids. Now, I unfortunately was one of those very exploratory children. So there I was in my very good Episcopalian Sunday school at the age of 3 years old, and I was given a piece of paper that I still remember that had a picture of a shepherd, kind of looking like Jesus, and a bunch of sheep down there. And if you went to the same Sunday school I did, there was a limited supply of crayons right in front of you. You didn't have a lot of choice. But I looked that over and I went, oh my goodness, look at this luscious purple. And I drew that purple all over the shepherd. And then whatever other colors I had, the sheeps and the whatever else was going on in that picture. Well, unfortunately, whoever was teaching took exception to a purple Jesus. And this is kind of the story of my life. You'd think this is an innocent act. Well, they called the priest in. They got the priest in. They did. They did. Then they called my mom in. What is up with this child? This is not right. My mom took one look at them and said, you're absolutely correct. There is a whole lot wrong here, and it's us coming to your Sundays. is about community. They don't get it. Have you had that experience? They don't get me?
Yeah.
And you know, I think for a lot of us, this is a profound awakening. And it helps us, whatever those differences are, whether you were painting the purple Jesus, or whether you were maybe a little boy who wanted to play with dolls. It doesn't matter. Community sometimes didn't get us, but it was the impetus for us to evolve, to grow, to find our way. And so that's one of the things I want to talk to you about as so-called woke people, as enlightened ones, as folks who are seriously on this path of individualizing our spiritual and deeply profound transformation into the highest and best we can be. That's who we is. And you know what? We do that alone a lot, don't we? It's kind of like the three biggies in life, or at least they're three biggies for me: birth, death, and orgasm. You do them alone, regardless of who's helping. And I like to have a hold of the mic myself. About that. So here's the thing that I want to say about that. What ends up happening is our profound transformative moments are individual and very deeply inner experiences. They are.
Yes.
So then what is our challenge? Our challenge is like the hero's quest. How many of you are familiar with the circle, the arc of the hero's quest? And this was Joseph Campbell who came up with this. Well, I don't know if he actually came up with the idea, but he certainly profoundly advertised it for all the rest of us. And the idea is you start out on an adventure and you go through these trials and tribulations. You receive a great gift. You have to face your dragon, your trial, or the dark cave, or whatever it is, on your own, but you come out triumphant, winning the mana, the spiritual power, and then what's the next step? You go back home. You go home. That's the next step. That's where we are. You see, we've all, each of us individually, been on this hero's quest. So I believe accountability now for us is our next step is to step out into community and share the gifts we've received. This is very important. And at this center, we absolutely appreciate that. We give a lot of ability for people to get up and do creative thought, for people to do the music, for people like me to speak. How many centers have 3 ministers and we each get to speak? Mark, how many? None. We're rare here. There's something profound going on here, so I want to talk about this as our accountability. To step forward and shine our light and share it because of that song, because of that oneness. So on that note, I'm going to share with you one of the strengths of community. It's the ability to get feedback. To get feedback. No matter how much, we don't necessarily want that feedback. So the other week, I was hanging out with some folks here, and we were having a really wonderful, profound discussion. And then it took a curve. You know how that can happen. And we discovered we were gossiping about something. And you know what? It's somebody I don't know. But darn, I was right in there too. And I don't like that. And you know what? Somebody in our group called us on it. And they go, whoa, 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 guys. I'm sorry. I'm not comfortable with this. This does not sound like love to me. Shocked. I was awake. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I don't even know this person. How did I get invested into bad-mouthing them? Oh, bingo. Oh my gosh. Oh, there is only one here. And it's me. And you know what that taught me, what I saw? Was in that moment, I had some forgiveness work still to do. And see, that's one of the ways community can really help us. In our own living room, we can be the legend. Right there, the star of the show, the woke up one, right? And then our neighbor goes, excuse me, that doesn't sound like love. And what a great gift. Because what I got to see was that place where I still wasn't forgiving somebody who had treated me with harshness, unkindness, and anger. I was still holding it because somebody I didn't even know I was interpreting that way. So that was what I did. And that helped me. Because then I started to do my atonement, my at-one-ment. Oh my gosh, what is it I've pushed away and I've rejected? And then, let me take a look at where do I act the bully? Where do I emotionally manipulate and get my way and take it out on others? Oh, hello. Uh-oh. There really is only one here. So that's one of the ways the community, when we allow feedback, uplifts us. There's another way, and that's allowing ourselves to be seen and to be heard. And I talked about that a moment ago. How important it is to come back and bring these deep gifts of awareness, of consciousness into the community, into our families, our personal families, into the larger community, into our schools, into our businesses, and certainly here with each other, to bring this back. And that's why, or that was the impetus for me in really starting the Aloha Circle. It's so that people could have an opportunity to share with each other the wisdom that they have gained on their journey. And this week, I got to do the Aloha Circle. And I got to experience being seen and heard in a group again. And how profound that is. So for those of you who feel like you're not seen or you're not heard sometimes, ask yourself if you're willing to be vulnerable and open. If you're willing to allow others in. Because here there's great power when we see and name the highest and the best in each other. There's truly, truly strength in numbers. One of the things that happens, and this is a metaphysical woo-woo thing, but I've directly experienced it, is when you do sadhana, when you do spiritual practice in a group, the energy you can get, wow! On my own, at home, doing my yoga, doing my spiritual practice, there's that much energy, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to really kickstart yourself, like it's one of those old lawnmowers that you just can't get going. So, when you come and meditate in a group, do Tai Chi in a group, sit and do spiritual practice with a group, this incredible influx of energy lifts you up and over the threshold and beyond where you were able to go individually. That's always been my experience, and that's why I keep coming back, even when I get feedback that really is a facer for me to look at. But I've learned that it's love. It's deep love. It's not a criticism. And to take it that way, and to use it that way. And it's been so beautiful and treasured. So my final thought for accountability and community comes from this poem. It's from the 1600s. It's a Japanese haiku, and it's written by a fellow who was a disciple of the Zen master Basho. And the haiku is, "The blind child, guided by its mother, admires the cherry blossoms. So I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes and take that in. The blind child, guided by its mother, admires the cherry blossoms. As your eyes are closed and you're breathing, I invite you to feel into the place where you are the blind child, where you don't know, where you're stumbling. Feel such sweetness for that part of yourself, gentleness, because there is also within you the guiding mother. Notice all the times someone in community has been your guiding mother. Someone has shown you the way. Someone has reminded you that you're lovable, you're beautiful, you're incredibly competent and creative. You are a wonder to behold. And how have you been that guiding mother? When have you reached out to help somebody see the cherry blossoms that they cannot see? When have you reached out and taken that flower and brushed it on someone's cheek so they can feel its delicacy? And when have you witnessed the cherry blossom? That inevitable, transforming spring of moving in to the flowering of your soul. When have you felt that and known that? And when have you shared that, like the mother guiding the child? Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and know this morning that we have a soul collective and we have an agreement to be the blind child, to be the mother, and to be the cherry blossom with each other. And that's our accountability. That's who we are. And this time that we are living in now is a time for us to ask ourselves, how can we walk each other home? How can I guide that blindness in myself and others? How can I allow myself to be guided? How can I willingly hear what the other souls are reflecting back to me? Whether it's my magnificent that I want to reject, or if they're noticing where I've missed the mark. And where am I blossoming? And where, when I look at a community, do I see that in every face? Yes, there it is.
You are so awesome. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Ooh, we are so blessed by our three ministers, Reverend Mark, Reverend Libby, and Reverend Kathy. We work together as a team. We hold each other up. When one of us doesn't feel good, the other one is there. It's just been an amazing experience for me. And I'm so grateful for it.